decided to extend an invitation, a team camping trip.
Who's ready for some s'mores?
We have 2 critically injured. Bear attack.
Any first aid kits here? Anything you got?
This bear came out of nowhere, ripped this guy's nose off.
Everyone stay calm. Don't run.
New Station 19 and Grey's Anatomy next Thursday on ABC.
Hey guys, first off, my apologies for not reviewing episode 12 last week and then getting my review of episode 13 out so late, but we're going to talk about episode 12 real quick in this video. We'll talk about 13 in full, and then we'll talk about the trailer for episode 14, at the end of this discussion. I'll put chapter times in the video description if you want to, skip around. The upside is the trailer is essentially a Station 19 trailer, so the whole review will be based off the description, and I'm going to talk about episode 12 right now. And my review is essentially 2 sentences. I didn't like it, and it was very boring. Here's why. First off, I do like all the characters that were the main focus of this episode, besides the Station 19 characters, Vic, and I can't think of her friend's name, but I remember he hit on Maggie. And I just found it very, very boring. And then the end result of it with Catherine threatening to buy Pac North, and then in episode 13 she did. And then having them being separated, and then having the Shmiko storyline. And I do not support Shmiko. I think they're an awful couple. I think Alex Lindy can't act. And I think Jake Borelli, he's just better in comedy. I don't like him in this serious role. I don't know why they're doing such a focus on this gay male storyline. I mean, they had a great focus, with Arizona and Callie, and then Arizona and Karina, and then even Arizona and Minik. I mean, the LGBT representation in this show is very apparent, and it's very prominent, and it's very good, but I don't like the actors they chose to represent the gay men. I just think they don't do it justice. So what I want to briefly talk about for episode 12 is I don't think it has any repeat value, which is unfortunate because a lot of episodes of Grey's Anatomy I think very much have repeat value, including the standalones. Like one of my favorite standalones is when Arizona, Joe, and Bailey went to the jail. I've talked about that episode many times. And this episode was a dinner. That was the main plot. But, season 12 had a dinner, but there was also a hospital storyline going on. But that dinner was so impactful because it was, Penny was the doctor on call, and, she, I don't want to say assisted with Derek's death, but she, was part of the team that operated on Derek, and then, that spiraled into a whole plot with Meredith and Penny for the rest of season 12. So that was really good. The plot that spiraled out of the dinner here is that Catherine and Richard's marriage is on the rocks, and then Catherine was going to buy Pac North, and she did, so there's that. And now it's like, are Catherine and Richard's marriage going to get fixed? And I would hope the obvious answer is yes, because there's no reason to keep their marriage broken. I don't like that. I really like Catherine and Richard as a couple. So honestly, I think that episode 12 is exceptionally skippable. I think the plot line that it introduced, it just isn't interesting, and I feel bad for Richard. However, I do like all the actors in that episode. I think Kelly McCreary, James Pickens Jr., Jesse Williams, and Debbie Allen are amazing. So, they're a testament to their acting skills, as always. I think the acting's great. I just think the plot line that came out of it, and the episode is exceptionally skippable. So, now, let's talk about Save the Last Dance, which is episode 13. And I've had to say, I thought the episode was interesting because it felt very scattered with how the storylines were structured. By the way, if you see me referring over here, I'm just looking at my notes because I had to write a lot of notes out for this episode because normally what happens with Grey's Anatomy is every character gets coupled together, and there's 3 of them in those 3 or 4 or 2 or whatever are dealing with one particular thing. A good example of that would be the mid-season finale for the mid-season finale for season 15, where you have Amelia Owen and Teddy in the elevator. You have Bailey and Helm in the elevator. You have Meredith and DeLuca stuck in the elevator. Like those are like the storylines you focus on, like what's going on with them, because obviously they were doing things that then led to them being in the elevator. With here, everyone is kind of all over the place dealing with each other, which I like, but for discussion, it makes it a little harder. So I just kind of have I have points that I want to just briefly talk about. I'll talk about each one for roughly a minute. I don't want to take up too much time. But overall, I did like the episode, but I do at the same time think it very much is background noise. So I love the opening scene with DeLuca and Meredith. I'm really happy that they're reconciling their relationship. I shipped Mayor Luca. I was so excited when they kissed in season 15. I love when she said, "I love you" at the end of season 15 as well. I'm very, very happy. We found out that Pac North, as I said earlier, was purchased. I can't believe it happened that fast, but hey, this is TV, so just accept it, right? Then Richard, stormed out. Richard had a massive, massive temper, and then I guess the one like kind of coupling storyline of this episode would be Owen and Tom, with Owen kind of being the butt of Tom's jokes, interviewing everyone else, giving people their jobs back, and then waiting for Owen at the end, which is unfortunate. I mean, poor Owen. The poor guy just can't catch a break. Joe mentions Alex is MIA at the end of that episode. This episode focuses also on like Joe being like, "Where is Alex?" Blah blah blah. And the show needs to reconcile what happened with Justin Chambers as soon as they can. This is too long, and his send off is obviously it wasn't a send off. It was just him leaving, and then now it's the actors mentioning him. So like as of now, it still seems like he's around, and Meredith still has her person, but that's gonna end soon. So we meet the new autoimmune death doctor. She was interesting. I like her. I like her interactions with the special patient. I like her interactions with Luca. I'm hoping she gets to do more with Ellen herself. So now, a result of Pac North being purchased is Maggie is no longer chief of cardio. She gets her job back. She gets to be an attending, but she gets her job back adjacent because, as I said, she's an attending but not the chief, and it's like that's like shock because. Put Kim or Teddy back in, heading up trauma and give Maggie her job back. Also, this episode lacked Kim Raver, which I think is very, very unfortunate. I mean, Kim Raver was so prominent in not in the last episode, but the episode before that and the episode before that. She's so good and she's so underutilized. It's a crime. It's a crime to underutilize her. Meredith herself, she was in the opening scene and she was kind of like sprinkled throughout the episode. I felt that it was very, very unfortunate. I mean, she feels very, very underused, not important. I think she's only really relevant in episodes that are like really, really big, like the disaster-based episodes, which I am not a huge fan of because, again, this is Ellen Pompeo. This is our main character. She's making $20 million, for every 2 seasons of the show now. So let's use her. She's a great actress. Like, I think it's unfortunate that she's not doing too much, and I think from the description she'll be doing some stuff next week, but the trailer doesn't really show that. Anyway. We also have poor Link. Amelia is dealing with trying to figure out if Owen's the father or Link's the father, and Link essentially just is like, I need to know, I love you, but I just can't not know. So I feel bad for him. I don't like how Amelia's kind of stringing him along, and it's like I use string along loosely. We have Joe and Bailey dealing with the foster kid. I do like that. I kind of like how Joe is able to connect to him, and then how we learn about this foster kid's backstory, and then how Bailey kind of is taking him under his wing more or less. I do like that. Another consistent storyline, so as I said, we had Owen versus Tom, but then we also have DeLuca and Suzanne is the patient who is very, very sick, and she's the reason why the autoimmune death doctor came into the show. I did like DeLuca and her, but she's a supporting character. She's not a main character, so it was really DeLuca's storyline with supporting patients. But I did like DeLuca in this episode quite a bit. I really like how this episode is trying to bring him into his own. I mean, he's always felt like a really good character, but this is just giving him more and more development, which I very much enjoy. Then, this episode had Levi in it as well, like in the beginning with him talking to Nico about moving in, and then there was Levi dealing with the old patient who has cancer. It didn't do anything for me. It was trying to elicit forced sadness and me to like Levi because of to see his reaction to dealing with the cancer patient. And I'm like, I don't like you. I don't care for your storyline. Give me back Sarah Drew and Jessica Capshaw. I don't need this. I liked Meredith consulting with Bailey when they were talking how like Meredith said like I would have done like a dance in the cafeteria, and then Bailey said that she grew up, and I liked the camaraderie, between Bailey and Meredith. I mean, I hated Bailey in the beginning of the season. She was so negative towards Meredith, but I really do like Chandra Wilson and Ellen Pompeo's acting. They work together very, very well. Jackson Richard had a really nice moment in this episode towards the end where Jackson was kind of able to calm Richard down. I like that. James Pickett Jr. and Jesse Williams vibe very well. I've said that in my trailer review for The Last Supper. I think Jesse Williams works very well with Kelly McKeary, James Pickett Jr., and Debbie Allen. I think that's his core group. He also worked very well with Sarah Drew. The Death Doctor, to get Suzanne to essentially withdraw all of her drugs, lied. I didn't like that. I mean, it's good for the plot to make it progress, but I just didn't like how she used her sisters and the like. I have 2 sisters. I'm very close to my sisters, and it would convince me. But then to find out it's a lie, I'd be like, wow, that's low. Then we have the OG Greys versus Tom, which I love. I mean, Jesse Williams per se isn't OG, but you have Meredith and even Owen. Owen came in season 5, I believe. But you have Owen, Owen. Oh my God, I can't blank on his name. Jackson. You have Owen, Jackson, Bailey, Richard, Meredith, all confronting Karasik and trying to redo their contracts and everything. I thought that was a fantastic scene. I really did like that. I also really like Greg German. I've said that many times, and this is his role, but to make him feel like a villain is wrong. But again, you need someone to vilify. Millie didn't do the test. I hated that, and that was really how the episode ended, minus Joe going to the apartment and trying to figure out what's going on with Alex. But I really didn't like that Amelia would do the test. I mean, like, Amelia knows the drama that'll unfold. She needs to do it. She needs to mature very fast, and she's already exceptionally mature. She's a licensed surgeon, a brain surgeon. Do the damn test, Amelia. So anyway, I thought Save the Last Dance was a good episode, but it blends into the background. I think it's not. I wouldn't skip it. I would skip the Last Supper. But I think Save the Last Dance it will end up being a background episode after you've seen it once or twice. So that's my review. I liked it, but not the best. All right. So the trailer is absolutely awful because it's 100% a Station 19 trailer. The show is trying to make Station 19 a thing, and I think Station 19 cannot be a thing. Private Practice was able to stand on its own merits. Private Practice was an excellent show. It's a spin-off of Grey's Anatomy, but it had Kate Walsh, Amy Brennan, Taye Diggs. It's a very, very good show. I don't think Station 19 is good at all, and they're obviously using Grey's Anatomy to advertise it because the trailers now are all Station 19 plots. I mean, the episode description says, DeLuca is irritated after Meredith takes over his patient Suzanne, whose symptoms continue to stump the doctors at Grey Sloan. Elsewhere in the hospital, Jackson, Owen, and Joe work on a couple injured in a bear attack, and Levi is hurt when Nico doesn't want him to meet his parents. So, the upside of this description is you have Owen, Joe, and Jackson working on the bear attack, which would be the end of the Station 19 episode. However, the trailer is all Station 19 characters. Why wouldn't we see Jackson, Owen, and Joe for just the trailer to be cut with them dealing with the patient? Why do we have to see how the attack happened? I don't need a weekly crossover with Station 19. So I think the attack storyline, in dealing with the patient's recovery will be great. But we also could have had Meredith and DeLuca having some friction in the trailer, or even actually no, the other part of the description is Levi being sad about Nico. I don't care about that. That shouldn't make the description. Again, I don't care. I don't think a lot of people find that couple engaging enough. But the trailer is, again, a Station 19 trailer, which I think is very boring. I don't want to watch Station 19. I tried it. I tried it twice. And for me, I think a way to know if you like a show or not is you got to go beyond the pilot. You got to watch episode 1, 2, and possibly 3. If you can't get past 3 and you think it's boring, the show is not for you. I've done that twice. I can't do it. And I went into it the first time with a very open mind. Very, very open mind. I went to Private Practice with an open mind. At first, I didn't like it. I thought the first episode was kind of but then I ended up loving it. I love Private Practice. One of my favorite shows. I've watched it 3 times now. I think the way that they're just incorporating Station 19 in every episode of Grey's Anatomy is an insult to Grey's Anatomy. Let Greys be Greys. Let Station 19 be Station 19. The ratings for Station 19 will be whatever they are. You cannot force me to watch it, and I won't. I do like the Suzanne thing with DeLuca. I think that's a really interesting storyline. It's making his character, as I said, more important, more relevant. So I like that. And I do hope that at the end of the episode, or even the episode after, that DeLuca and Meredith will be able to, come together and hopefully fix it. I really feel like it'd be really upsetting if Suzanne died. The bear attack storyline should be interesting, but we don't see anything except more or less how the bear attack occurred. And as I said, Levi's hurt when Nico doesn't want him to meet his parents. I don't care. So I don't like the trailer. I like the description. I think the episode will be interesting. It could end up being like Save the Last Dance, or it becomes kind of background noise-ish, but because I think the medical drama is going to be slightly traumatic, obviously, it'll be good. And then there should be some Mayor Luca, and Mayor Luca's always fun to watch now. So the trailer doesn't excite me. The description does, which is unfortunate. It should be both, or it should be the opposite way around. Like the description can be like a little less intriguing, but if the trailer has like real cool clips, you'd be like, wow, I can't wait to see. So overall, share your thoughts, comments below about The Last Supper, Save the Last Dance, and the trailer for A Diagnosis. I am curious to see your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching my review. I will try to actually review this is episode 14. I will try to review episode 14 on time, around 11 o'clock. The show, unfortunately, it does air now at 9, which I don't like. I liked when it aired at 8 because I was able to review it right at 9 and then have it and then be done with everything by 11. So now I'll be up till 12. But I will try to do that on Thursday night. If not, I will do it on Sunday like I'm doing. Again, I also feel bad for skipping another week's worth of videos. So share your thoughts, comments below. Thank you so much for watching my review. I appreciate it. And I will talk to you all very soon. Take care. Bye.